This is VoxCrest Report. I'm Daniel. Across Latin America, leaders are under growing pressure to get tougher on crime, and the Bukele model from El Salvador is increasingly becoming the reference point. The Bukele model is shorthand for El Salvador President Nayib Bukele's war on gangs launched in 2022. It relies on an ongoing state of emergency mass arrests and rapid expansion of detention capacity. Reporting says the crackdown produced a sharp decline in homicides and a surge in domestic approval. The same reporting says the state of emergency has remained in place for nearly 4 years, with more than 90,000 arrests. El Salvador recorded just 82 homicides in 2025, compared with 6,656 in 2015. But the approach has also drawn on accusations of human rights abuses and authoritarian tactics. So why are other leaders being pushed toward this model now? Reporting describes pressure coming from 2 directions. First, voters. Many countries are facing persistent insecurity, and voters want visible results fast. Analysts describe projecting toughness as a political winner, while slower reforms that address corruption and social conditions take time and are harder to sell. Second, the United States. Reporting says President Donald Trump has intensified pressure on Latin American governments by labeling multiple criminal groups as foreign terrorist organizations. The same reporting describes Trump taking a confrontational tone toward the region, including raising threats and using Bukele as a preferred example of what he wants to see. That political environment is shaping decisions across the region. In Guatemala, reporting says President Bernardo Arevalo declared a 30-day state of emergency after suspected gang members killed 10 police officers. The decree restricted rights such as movement, gathering, and protest. Reporting notes Arevalo had campaigned on strengthening institutions and fighting corruption rather than iron fist tactics, but the violence and political pressure pushed him toward a tougher playbook. In Costa Rica, reporting says the government broke ground on a new prison, modeled after El Salvador's high-security facility used for alleged gang members. That shows how the model is spreading not only in rhetoric but also in infrastructure and policing style. Reporting also points to Ecuador and Honduras as countries taking pages from Bukele's approach, though it notes few have matched El Salvador's intensity. In Mexico, reporting says President Claudia Sheinbaum has pursued cartels more aggressively than the approach linked to the phrase, "hugs not bullets." This shift is described as happening under mounting pressure over security and under threats tied to the Trump administration posture. In Colombia, reporting says President Gustavo Petro campaigned on total peace and negotiations with armed groups. But as talks with the ELN and other groups stalled and elections drew closer. Reporting says he leaned more on the military and even threatened joint military action with Venezuela if the ELN did not enter a peace process. The reason the Bukele model is so controversial is that it forces a trade-off question. How much civil liberty and due process can be limited in exchange for rapid security gains? Supporters argue it works and saves lives. Critics argue mass detention can sweep up innocence, weaken democratic checks, and normalize emergency powers. Reporting also says attempts to copy Bukele do not always succeed. Some leaders have tried to ride his popularity but have fallen short, because they do not go as far, or because their institutions and gangs are different, or because public trust is lower. The bigger story is a regional political shift. Crime and insecurity are pushing leaders toward hardline policies, and the Bukele model is shaping what voters expect and what governments feel they must deliver. You're listening to VoxCrest Report. Subscribe for fast updates, and I'll see you in the next report.